Hello and welcome to episode 4 of our How to Create a Landscape series. Today we'll be covering the long-awaited water. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So to begin with, we're going to want to go up to the Edit, Plugins, and then we're going to search for water. Now this is experimental plugins, so it has a lot of bugs and optimization, but for this landscape it'll be good. And afterwards, we're just going to want to restart the engine. Alright, so I've gone ahead and restarted and also touched up my landscape a little bit here. Next, we're going to want to go up to the selection mode, type in water, and then we can simply add our water body ocean. And this will create a new layer for us and name it water. And it drops in right away. Now as you see, it affects our terrain, already landscape that I've created. So we're going to want to go up to the search box and then type in or affect landscape. Then we can move this up and down to determine our water level. Now as you see, we have this little error right here. This is just because my water body ocean isn't centered. So I'm going to go back to general and zero this out on the X and Y. And we have a little bit more, so I'm going to fix this up. Now that our water's all good to go, we can go with the next step. And that'll be focusing on the waves. So if we select our ocean, search for waves, you may already have the Gaussian waves ocean selected. I have none. Then if we go up to the water source, we can change this to Gaussian water waves. And then there's a ton of settings around here that you can customize the water to whatever your needs. So you can change the number of waves, the strength, the tiling, the amplitude. So I recommend playing around with the wave setting yourself. There's quite a lot, and I could probably spend 20 minutes going over them. So after we've got some basic waves, we do have the small bug over here. So what we can do to fix this is just change this max wave height offset. Depends on your landscape settings and all that, but we can just line it up, and then that'll be good for now. Another way to fix it is if we just have no waves at all, and then we can reset our height offset, and that'll also make it flush. So next, we're going to want to start changing the color of our ocean. This normal blue is beautiful, but I just want something a little bit different. So we're going to go up to our ocean component, type in material. Now I went with the water HLD material, but you could go with the normal water material under that rendering tab. Then what we're going to do is create a material instance of this. And we want to create a material instance because this is an engine material, so we really don't want to move the base out of this folder. So we'll just create the instance and then drag it to our levels. Once it's in here, we can double click it. Open it up, and then we're going to want to focus on this global vector parameter values and absorption and scattering. So I'm just going to make my absorption red, and we can save this. Alright, so after we have our material instance created, we can just simply drag it and drop onto the water material slot, and that'll update the ocean texture for us. Now to fix this flickering, what we're going to do is just type in waves, and then we're going to add a wave source, and we're going to use that water waves assets reference with the default ocean, and that'll make everything join together again. So the next step is getting this far ocean to the same color as our inner ocean. So we're actually going to go out to this water zone object and then type in the search bar over here, material, and then far distance material. Click the little folder with the icon and it'll bring you straight there. And just like the previous water textures in the engine, we're going to want to create a material instance and then move it to our materials folder, our levels folder, whatever we're using. And then we can just change the color. I made it a little deeper red so you can see the difference. And then we simply drag and drop that material instance in, and you can see the inner and outer ocean. If we click play and try and walk around, and we go into the ocean, you'll notice that we simply stand on it instead of walking through like normal water. So for this issue, what we have to do is open the water body ocean details panel Then we're going to type in collision, go down to collision presets, and we're going to ignore only pawn. There's probably a couple other settings that work as well, but this one will do the job. And as you can see, when we walk in the water now, it gives us that underwater effect. I'm not going to change this tint, but it's possible. So with all that out of the way, we can now begin starting on the river. So to add a river, just go up to the Place Actors tab, Water, and we're going to use a water body river. Like other brushes, it spawns with 3 points in, and you can see the river. So I'm just going to move this around a little bit, get it to a spot that I like. And you can move and rotate these points around as well. Okay, so now that I'm about done positioning my river, we can begin looking at the settings for it. So if I just go up to this top vertex and click it, then I can view all the settings. The ones we're going to be focused on for right now are under this water tab. So we can change the depth, which is pretty neat. Then the river width, if we want to have a super wide river or a super narrow river. And the velocity is also super cool. So we can start out fast from the top of the mountain, and as it comes to the next point, it'll slow down. Now obviously this is a dead stop, so we'll increase this one somewhere in the middle, and then as it goes down to the ocean, it kind of mellows out again. So as it's clear to see, our material is blue, so we're just going to type in the materials, and like we previously did for the other 2 oceans, we're going to find our water material, search it in the engine folder, and then create a material instance of it. So as you notice, it doesn't update all of the river textures, so we have to go down and search for the materials, and this time we're going to be looking for river to ocean transition. Now you could have to use river to lake transition depending on your project, but this one will do for now. So I'm just going to go ahead and create that material instance. And now that I have the material, drag and drop in there. So as you can see, it updates right away. And to fix this small wave thing at the bottom, we're just going to go back to our water body ocean and then update the wave source to the water waves asset reference. Maybe yours is already there. You might not have to change anything, but it's always good to know the settings. So yeah, that was kind of a overview of the water system for Unreal Engine 5. It is a beta plugin. As you can see, there are a couple of technical limitations you have to work around, but overall, and with how difficult water is to work with, I think it's a really great tool. But hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in the next episode where we work on the materials a little bit more instead of just having this flat grass and having to paint all the textures.